Okay.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Craig Scott,
Here.
Mark Serbrook,
Present.
Ron Vaughn.
Here.
Brad Newbecker.
Here.
Jenny David.
Here. We got echo.
Echo, echo. Echo. Echo.
Item 2, we got public comment. You're gonna update, you update that public comment about
There's a
the
sheet
initial public comment being, oh, is it? Right here?
right here on the podium.
That's the
rules.
Yeah, it's got the.
Say on it.
Okay, so item 2, public comment. I'm gonna go ahead and read this quickly. On December 10th, 2020, the Board of Commissioners approved Resolution 20-77 to adopt rules of procedure that include a structure for public comment. Each meeting agenda opportunities, for public comment. The first public comment period is limited to topics that appear on the meeting agenda. A second public comment period is reserved for public comments on any matter or issue that is relevant or germane to county government. Persons who wish to address the board are required to comply with the following: 1, state your name for the record; 2, speak only to the chairperson; 3, stand behind the podium when speaking; 4, limit comments to 3 minutes or fewer; and 5, follow the direction of the chairperson when speaking. Board rules do not impose restrictions on subject matters. However, failure to follow the direction of the chairperson will result in not being able to talk or being removed from the meeting. The board chairperson reserves the right to sound the gavel when the audience applauds or derides a speaker. The board thanks you in advance for your compliance with these rules. Is there any public comment? Anybody in the room with public? Any public comment on the phone? No public comment? Item 3, appointments. 3A, we have the Sheriff Brian Gilbert. 3A1, internal investigation discussion. Come on up, Sheriff.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Did you print that?
Sorry.
Yesterday, did you update this
Um,
after
We
yesterday
did.
afternoon?
we did, we had a request that Paul had to be out of here, so that was moved to the top.
Morgan sale at 10 o'clock, so.
You guys got the floor.
Our internal investigation is complete. We're advised by 4 different attorneys, including Greg Meehan, to give that report, do it in a closed session, summarize the report, and give the results in a closed session. And that was the instructions from Greg Meehan also. But the report is done. Everything is complete within our office. There has been action.
Commissioners?
When do we see it? Read it. Get the briefing. Have it in my hand. That's it? Just the briefing?
That's what we were instructed by the attorneys to just summarize our report verbally based on employee rights and union rights. That's based on the attorneys. And one of them is our county attorney.
Yeah,
Which
which
is that?
we pay for. It's a
That-
service that I write a check for.
That was our discussion on that Tuesday, 3 Tuesdays ago. That was his suggestion. Verbalize your report because it is an internal report and there's employees' rights, union rights.
Civil litigation attorney should be involved in this also, is what we've been involved. We haven't had a great communication with, him, but
Why would the civil be involved?
because he has to have notice and information for defense of the civil litigation.
But this is separate from the civil. That's personal, correct? There,
It is.
that's nothing to do with the county.
Yeah, That's just what I've been advised. The civil attorney should be involved because he's defending the county in civil litigation.
The civil case or the
I-
federal? I guess I'm confused.
Federal case, the federal.
Okay, I thought you meant the other civil case.
No, not that one.
Okay, I was off on that. Opinions, questions? You're not able to give us the findings, even the findings that are not relevant to the, or not relevant to the federal case.
Right. Our internal investigation was, we were advised to do it in a closed session, verbalize what we did, the outcome, and be right up front with it in a closed session because there's employee rights involved.
So are we gonna do that towards the end of this meeting?
No, we can go into closed session right now if you guys would like, so then we can further this discussion.
Well, I guess I only have one question. I understand the closed session, but why can't it be a document? Why does it have to be verbal?
Because the document won't get out. That's what
If it's
we're
in closed
told.
session, then we can't talk
And-
about it. It's in
Board
closed
members,
session.
can I jump in on this?
Oh, not yet.
No, hang on, Greg.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Brad.
I
I
just,
said-
I guess, I don't understand why it couldn't be in a written format.
Well, I believe that the reason for that is they're afraid that it will get out.
Every attorney involved in this thing gets to look at a piece of paper. Everybody but 5 people get to look at a piece of paper. And it's the 5 people that's been sitting here in trust of the law saying that I can't talk about a thing in the last so many months. And I've got the public on my ass about this stuff. I got everybody chewing on me, wanting to know what the truth is and everything else. And I can't tell them what I've heard in meetings because I am told by attorneys and everybody else I can't talk. And now I got a sheriff that doesn't trust me.
It's not that. I'm going by the people, the attorneys. The attorneys are giving me that instruction.
Well, I'm kind of wondering what our next attorney's probably gonna do.
Mr. Meehan, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to indicate that once the administrative discipline, whatever that turned out to be, is issued, the employee has grievance rights. And until those grievance rights are completed, if they are going to be completed, the issue of providing the report needs to remain undisclosed at this point in time, the actual physical report that Craig and you all would like to have, because the grievant does have his appeal rights and the ability to go all the way through arbitration in this regard. Once that appeal right under the collective bargaining agreement is completed, then we can have a second discussion that talks about the disclosure of the report. But right now, we are entitled and should be entitled to receive the summary of the report and the findings and decisions that are being made in a closed session.
Because we all got copies yesterday as far as what the disciplinary action was, and it's already been served, if I'm not mistaken.
That is
So
correct.
there's-
And that would normally start then the rights of the employee to grieve that discipline if he so choose to do so. I believe he has 10 days to do so. It may be less, it could be 7. I was frantically looking for the CBA as you guys were talking, but it is a very short period of time, and I will advise you when that time has expired so that you'll be able to, at that point in time, move forward with getting the report in your hand from the sheriff and how that could occur.
Would you guys like to go in the closed
Well, it's
session?
gotta be pretty close here because the first day of the suspension was 29th. So you had to either give it to them on the 28th or 29th. So even 10 days past that, if it's 7, we're probably there. If it's 7 days, we're there already. Because it'd be the 29th, the 31st, the 30th, the 31st, and 5 days of August. That's 8 days.
Would you guys like to go into closed session to further discuss this?
Just want
Okay.
I don't mind being open right now. Not talking about it. I don't
No,
think.
it's
we
public.
can. Yeah.
Public documents. Greg, did you hear, is there,
I did not hear that question. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Scott had a question as far as the time frame because he feels as far as we could be 8 days out already.
Well, that's why we need to understand, why I understand from Tim yesterday, I'd not heard from the sheriff yet. The disciplinary process was given to Tim yesterday, which would start the CBA appeal period. But then there was a comment made that this individual had already served the disciplinary process. And therefore, there would be no time going forward. I just would need to understand exactly what happened. Tim had given me the best information he could yesterday from a form he received, but I don't have, nor does Tim have any clarification as to when and how that all occurred. So I'd love to answer Commissioner Scott's comments. And I'm more than willing to do so, but I would need to know those types of responses from the sheriff. When was the report discussed with Mr. Gilbert, the findings? When was he issued the discipline? And that would then let us know whether or not there's going to be any appeal to the grievance.
Was the discipline that was given to this individual, was it based on all of the findings? You now have our report from our lawyer, our internal investigation.
Right.
Was it on one thing specifically, or was it everything that was stated in our report or Greg's report with the numerous allegations?
We found only one.
You found only one.
One standard operating procedure. That's what you're
Yes.
related to. You're not related to anything else, just written standard operating procedure. Since it's a written standard operating procedure, which one is it?
Failure to report conduct.
And the other ones were just allegations. No solid proof on none of the other stuff.
So there's no proof, I guess, please tell me if I can't state this out loud, because this is a public document.
If I were given the latitude, I would suggest you go into closed session and that some very specific questions be directed to the sheriff and the undersheriff, so that we have an understanding of the magnitude of what was done, and thereby not compromising any of the confidential information. I defer to the county attorney to determine whether or not this is something we can go into closed session to discuss. But there are just a number of variables included in this report too, that I think questions directly to the sheriff and undersheriff would maybe help to clear up.
Yeah, Tim, thank you. You're just beating me to the punch. I prefer we go in there. The issues that we would be discussing would involve attorney-client privilege matters, both that are comprised of in my report and would be comprised of in the undersheriff's report. And I think for the type of discussion that you are looking to have, it would be better to have that in closed session so that you are not trudging over those rights and creating a opening on the attorney-client privilege portion.
I'm gonna make a motion to go to closed session.
Court.
We have a motion,
We're going into closed session for. Exactly.
a motion to further discuss the findings of the sheriff's internal investigation.
And the attorney internal investigation, my investigation.
Say that.
and Greg Meehan's, Foley and Mansfield's findings in the internal investigation. Did you support that?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I get a roll call on that?
Craig Scott,
Yes.
Mark Serbrook,
Yes.
Ron Vaughn,
Yes.
Brad Newbecker,
Yes.
Jenny David.
Yes. You're gonna go into closed session at 9:15.
Thanks, Paul.
Tom?
Do you want to be in the room in the closed session, or do we need to ask others to leave?
But no,
It's the board's call. Are you comfortable with Lieutenant Ogier?
You guys have you guys, I'm asking your opinion.
Well, fine.
Okay.
I mean, as far as attendance.
I'm good with it.
Is Tom's parking?
Putting them in the waiting room, it looks like.
He'll be coming back on. There you go. Well,
Jenny, before you leave today, I have a contract that needs to be signed for the Bastion.
Oh, do you want to grab it?
It's an e-sign.
Oh, okay. Right back. Okay, we'll resume the meeting. And 13, next on the agenda, are you want to read what we have here? Go ahead.
There would be I'll ask, have you asked Greg about procedurally, because this is a committee of the whole, motion, okay, or how do we want to proceed? The language would be to instruct the county administrator and county attorney to forward information in the internal investigation report to the appropriate authorities.
Greg, did you hear that?
I did, and that is correct. And we'd need a board member to adopt that as his or her motion, and then a second and discussion, and we're done.
Can we do that in the committee of the whole meeting?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, you
Yeah,
can.
please, this is a public.
Okay.
meeting.
I will go
It's
ahead
our
and
Position not to.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion?
Call for the vote.
No further discussion? Roll call vote.
Ron Vaughn,
No.
Brad Newbecker,
Yes.
Jenny David,
Yes.
Craig Scott,
Yes.
Mark Serbrook,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3.2, the police academy. Sure.
well, what I'm looking to do, if I get the support on a resolution to support 3 correction officers to go to Delta. Tim will help me out with, hopefully with the figures, because I don't have them. Then the sheriff walked off with the figures I had. What we're looking to do is send 3 there. The academy starts October or August, I'm sorry, August 23rd, Delta. In order to do that, we're gonna backfill the jail with, actually, it'd be a lesser amount wage money, because 2 of the correction officers that's going is making the higher wage than the starting wage, so be a little bit cheaper that way. That's the only way that I see that we can get our night patrol up and running. I have not had any recent applicants to apply. That's been a couple months that I haven't had recent ones. With our wage benefit package, it's not appealing to people. And that's going to be up to the unions and the commissioners to maybe work on that. right now, we're faced with a dilemma that we don't have our night patrol. If I could get them 3 sent to the academy by January, February, and I'm leaning more into January, I think I can get my night car up and running. My plan is to get the new guys that fresh out of the academy, stick them in the night car, and then have the training officers move up to nights, which they'll be trained where their elements, where they're gonna be stationed at. We can get that program up and running and give what people supported.
Are those slots locked in for Delta right now?
Yes.
So you guarantee
Yes, yes. They went through, all 3 of them went through the pre-test, they went through the written, physical. They all passed. In A band, I think there was 2 in A band, 1 in the B band. So it's a good fit. I think.
I just want to make sure you got my, because I talked to somebody that they said there was only one unsponsored
Right,
candidate
right.
going to Delta. So that just shows you everybody else is in the same
Trend,
boat.
this is the trend.
Well,
Plus now you got the state police that are running a specific academy for,
Yeah, a lateral.
Yes.
They're doing a lateral, which is pulling people from
Yep.
agencies, shortening the agencies and laddering.
they're cherry picking.
Exactly what they're doing and with the lesser academy that they have to go through.
that could be true, what you're saying as far as sponsorship, but the last academy at Kirtland that graduated, there was 3 cadets that were not spoken for. And that was just about 2 months ago, or I don't recall exactly, but it wasn't that long ago. We got 1 female out of it. But there was 3 cadets there that were not spoken for. So
I'm just saying that the trend is, it used to be the vast majority of people going through those academies were self-sponsored. They were not sponsored by a law enforcement agency. That was just the point that I was trying to make, was the fact that there aren't,
others
But the
joined.
academies are full,
right, but there aren't too many unsponsored.
So in order to backfill this academy starts fairly quickly, then 2-3 weeks out. We're gonna hire some part-time individuals to backfill those positions. Aren't they gonna require training?
Actually, we have 2 right now to go into place. We just hired Brett Gemmel, who went to shift on the 21st of July. He'll be going to shift on his own on the 9th, the new pay period. The 2 that I have waiting to step into work are both corrections trained. One's already certified, one's got a year in corrections. It would be Wes Franks, who's got a history, family, law enforcement background. I think his dad's a sheriff actually in Iosco County. And Darren Ragos, who worked for us before, who's ready to come back.
So how much overtime is happening over there now? Is there any?
Well, last couple of weeks, we had quite a bit, but we had the Mirror bank robbery trial. So we had 5 people that were securing a bank robber for, but as far as shift overtime, not a lot, not like it used to be now. I'd have to compare the numbers and go back to look from last year to this year, and I think we're way down.
So the budget's.
But you are in the.
Budget's still in line then.
Yes.
Your overtime,
Yes.
your overtime
Last-
budget's still,
Yeah, last year, I think, I can't remember the numbers exactly. I think we come in, 75,000 under budget. The year before, the same thing. And we'll do that this year as well, I believe. Or maybe. more.
So you'll do that even without pulling 3 people at one time out of there?
2 of them will be backfilled right behind them right away. And the 3rd one we already got on the floor. So, I mean, I can't sit here and give you numbers, what exactly
Fair.
it's gonna cost, but it's definitely not gonna be, the ones coming in are gonna be at a lesser wage than the ones leaving.
and that's.
and you've got
because
people,
they're-
you've got people that have already got experience, so they're gonna need minimal OJT.
Absolutely, and one of them doesn't need the academy because he's already correction certified. He's already been through the academy. The other one will have to go in a year.
You're losing a corporal, or what are you losing?
We're losing 2 military veterans and another young man who did a good job.
Got a higher
I mean,
rank.
3 good people, but 3 good people will still be within the sheriff's department.
Yeah, but I mean, are they, got a rank in your department?
One's a corporal.
That's what I mean.
The other 2 are correctional staff. Yeah.
One thing I'm looking at the policy. Commissioner Vaughn, we asked last time we met about how long somebody had to stay in. And Commissioner Vaughn thought that it should be at least as long as they get certified correction. But that isn't included in the requirements. So my thing was, and I'll repeat that if you like somebody off the street, you could bring them into corrections in a week, you could put them in the academy.
Yeah, you
So
know,
we're really not drawing off corrections, we're drawing off the street.
I don't know if that would happen a lot. I'm not saying it
Well,
won't happen, but
know.
but the thing is, Craig,
You'll have more nephews coming along.
no. I'm not gonna hire any family members or
Well,
anything.
I think that they should be
Glad to hear that.
with the jail probably for at least a year, wouldn't you think?
Well, that was my point, I think,
I-
was if you have longevity, Lieutenant Ogier knows,
Work ethic.
Well, that's the
yeah,
whole
work
point of
ethic
the
and
program
whatnot.
was.
So you know who you're getting, you know.
You got somewhat of a known quantity, if not a known quantity.
Yeah. Well, their probationary period is the first year.
Sure.
So they get through a year, you're gonna know what you have. If they fake it for a year, it end up being.
It's the sheriff's call on the
Yeah.
requirements, so.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, are you going to put in a year? Are you gonna put in a certification level, or are you just
Well,
gonna
we'll
leave it
discuss,
like
we'll
that?
discuss, I'll discuss that with the undersheriff.
Yeah, I don't agree with the criteria. I think it's very subjective. A good work ethic is basically all that it says. I think there, as far as criteria, as far as who's chosen, out of whomever would like to go, I don't agree with that criteria at all. And also I think some things need to change before I'm willing to go forward with this. Some culture things need to change, and we need, I don't say proof, but some trust instilled that things have changed. It's a lot of money. Again, we're looking between $40,000 to $50,000 of what this is gonna cost. And Mark, that would be interesting to see. You said others were sponsored. You know, are they paying their wages? Are they paying their
have to.
benefits?
You
Are
have
they
to.
paying-
You have to. Legally, you have to.
So I guess I will reach out as well to find out if they're paying overtime for them to go to this. If they're paying, which is part of the travel time, which is overtime, we're gonna be paying them, backfilling the position.
Well, in
Um,
those are the cases, they're just probably paying for their education.
Right. They got to pay you have to pay wages,
Well,
the
Are you
fringes.
certain on that?
Yes.
are you certain?
They are an employee. If they are sponsored by a law enforcement agency, they are an employee of that agency. They have to be paid.
I will.
You know, it's cut and dry. You have to pay them.
That is correct.
Okay. alright.
So you can't sponsor somebody who says that they're a current employee.
If they're sponsored by a law enforcement agency, they have to be employed by that agency to
Okay,
be sponsored. If you're unsponsored, you're paying out of your own pocket. You have to meet the minimum criteria for the academy, education wise, go through everything else, but you are unsponsored, you are not employed by a law enforcement agency. So you're.
That's correct, because the difference, Madam Chairman, is sponsored, you're making it a term and condition of their employment. Unsponsored, they're going in there to try to see if they can pass and be employed by anyone. They're not specifically beholden to anyone. But that's the distinction and the reason for the difference.
you know, the other issue with my issue was looking at the contract is if something happens, unfortunately, let's say a family emergency or whatever happens, and they have to drop out at 17 weeks is quite a while, so anything can happen. How I read that contract correct, we've already invested 10,000 in their tuition. They're able to, unfortunately, they would have to stop, slide right back into their position at the corrections department.
Right.
So, you know, that made me a little uneasy. The other thing is yes, they're gonna sign this contract for 3 years. If for some reason that contract gets broken, there's no way to collect this money. I mean, yeah, they sign a contract, but there's no way that we're gonna get $40,000 out of somebody that, I mean, how can we guarantee we're gonna get this money back?
There is no guarantee. Yes, assume.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee.
But it's better than nothing at all.
I agree with you, but all it pretty much is a piece of paper.
If I may,
Yes, please.
you have candidates from corrections that have already been here for years. They've already passed the state requirements for physical fitness and the A-band, two of them. I believe two of them, I don't want for sure. The physical fitness part, we've already invested years into these people. We already know their time and attendance. We know their behavior. We know they come to work and how they do their job in the correctional setting, which is an extension of law enforcement. They've already been here this much time. Anything can happen. We can say, get an academy and they can break a leg and they can't finish the academy.
Correct.
Okay, that can happen. But these people don't plan on going anywhere. They've already been here for years. Why would they go? They have the benefits that we're talking about that why we can't get new candidates because of the insurance. These people have been here and have that insurance. I believe except for the exception of Mr. Barrow.
So that.
I always look at-
I think they should be here long enough so we can get that.
And if you
And then
go,
they'll stay.
and if you go
We got a
by-
lot better chance of them staying.
and if you go by the seniority down, I mean, if you put it out for bids and you put it up and you post it, if seniority pick
Oh,
and
wait a
go all the way
minute.
down, they
We're
still
past
got,
that, though.
I know, but
We're
they
past
still got,
that.
got to
That's
pass
not
all the other requirements. So it can't be, it's not subjective. They have to pass.
Requirements, they're already hired, they're already in there, they've already passed that. The requirements comes from you and then it goes to the sheriff, correct? And
No, they still have state requirements to pass to get into the academy. It isn't that easy. These people have to be physically fit. They have to have certain amount of intelligence to know enough of the criminal justice system and the questions to pass the written test. That's English, that's different things. And plus they already have years of experience over there.
I think you're missing my point. My point is criteria that's being chosen out of the corrections as far as who we're choosing to go forward. It's it's good work ethic. It's pretty much all that says.
But-
They come to you and then the ultimate decision is the sheriff's.
Well, and it should be. I mean.
That's not what I'm saying, but again, is there annual job reviews? Is there, how do we have proof to back up the choice that's being made of a $40,000 investment?
You have proof because they come to work every day and they have a supervisor that sits there every day and knows who comes to work, who doesn't come to work. I'm not gonna go to the sheriff and say, I think you should put him in the academy. If I know he doesn't show up for work 3 days a month.
Can
I
you
mean,
show me a job evaluation? Can you show me anything to back up that I get every year?
We could look at payroll stubs. We could look at time on there. I mean, there's ways to pull up time and attendance and look at it. I keep all the sick call-ins. I keep a ton of stuff on there. You can look at their disciplinary file. If they have discipline, he's gonna know that. I'm gonna give that to him.
That's the file you're asking.
And believe me, that stuff I don't share lightly, but I have disciplinary files. I mean, there's people. Okay.
Well, your policy
I-
simply states a year with jail as a corrections officer, fully certified, and no reprimands on your record. You can qualify to be interviewed for this position. And then you guys have the autonomy at that point to pick whoever you choose, whoever you think is the best fit for that job. I'd be fine with that. But the only thing that I'm concerned about is the after. I don't like the prorate as far as afterwards. I'd like to see it 5 years, not 3 years. If they really want this and they're gonna stay, because obviously they can have the benefits and everything, then I think that they need to sign a contract that states that no matter what, I don't care the reason,
I don't have a problem with that, Brad.
they need to pay all that money back that they incurred during that training. I just think that it's too big a benefit for them to not be able to take that responsibility.
I'm very confident that the selected 3 will be here beyond, way beyond 5 years. So I don't.
Because, I mean, even if they got roots here and everything.
Yeah.
And they get trained, they're on the job for, say, 2 or 3 years. That's no guarantee that they can't find a better pay somewhere else or better benefits somewhere else at a bigger county with a bigger budget. But just our neighboring county has a better budget than we have. They have villages that pay for a lot of that stuff, but I just think that that's an important thing to protect our investment. Obviously you guys feel good about who they are, but we need to make sure that we don't spend that money for nothing. Because the way I read it, basically after the first year, it's only like 60-some% of that money has to be paid back. And I think that's way too short a time to pay half the money back that you just received. I just would like to see it a lot longer than what it is and no proration. It should be all or nothing. That's just my opinion on it.
Why not try with one officer? Why jump to 3?
I have to have, well, if you go with 3, it's gonna be cheaper because you got that third person riding in the car for mileage.
And we have an academy that's north, that's half the distance travel. And the tuition is also less. I know what was on there, but I got it from the academy, or not the academy, the academic coordinator there, that it's $7,884 for Kirtland, and that's in district, which we are in district. And it's $600 for miscellaneous items, which in that contract, it looks like they have to purchase on their own, if I read that correctly.
Well, what we've got is we're gonna have them purchase their own laptop, their own clothing.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be on them. Delta has a 5-day academy, Monday through Friday. They have PT every day. What I understand, and maybe Kirtland had changed it, I don't know, but Kirtland was Monday through Thursday and every Friday off. And I don't believe they have PT every day. So I feel, my own opinion, I think Delta has a better program. And what I want to do is get the people in a good program. So when they come out, they will be more ready. They have 4 more, certifications coming out. Radar certification, which is a week class. That's 1 week class. They'll be certified in that. Taser's a 4-hour. It's a 4-hour class, and I can't remember the other 2 without looking at my notes. That
But taser's something that any department can do, correct? You guys can
We can
even
do
do your
that.
own taser education.
But it's a 4-hour block. You still have to pay somebody 4 hours their wage to teach that. So it's still a cost factor.
And my other question, so this is going to be 3 brand new officers to do the night patrol. You made a statement about 3 months back at the Fair Board meeting that you were not looking for all new officers. You wanted some seasonal officers. So I guess what changed within the last
Well-
3 months?
Season officers would be great, but I don't have them knocking at the door. They're not here. They are not here. I have not had anybody come to the door within the last 2-3 months wanting an interview.
So we've asked again, as far as where are you advertising? Are we advertising it for out-of-state officers? Where is this? I've looked, I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong places.
Well, MCOs it's in MCOs. That's huge. Anybody that's a police officer is looking for a job, they're gonna go to MCOs. It's in there. That is the biggest advertising source that we have. Anybody that's looking for a police job goes there.
Right now, it's really hard to get certified officers to go anywhere. You have the state police taking transfers from other agencies, which is unheard of. That's the first time in my life.
I heard that, and they're in their academy, and I understand that.
And so it's hard to, and then at the time, bargaining stuff, insurance, there's a lot of reasons people won't come here, but
Well, the thing is,
I would like reinforcement that we're attempting, that we've tried. For a $40,000 investment for 3 people, we're looking at about $120,000 for brand new officers. No, I understand the corrections aspect, but I want reinforcement that we've tried. I want to be able to show people. I want to be able to tell them that we've done our due diligence to try to recruit. And I can't do that. I can say what you're telling us, but
that's where the trust level comes to me. I'm trying to get people. I'm trying everything I can do to get people. We're not the only agency that's having this problem. We are not the only people.
But you're not
I'm
having a
sure.
problem getting people because you got a source. You just did, and you're not even having a problem backfilling your corrections. Okay, so you're already, so the question is the academy. I got a question. You say that Kirtland's 4 days a week. Is it more than 17 weeks?
No, it's 17 weeks. Well,
They've got to have the minimal hours.
they gotta have the
so however-
minimum hours, whatever.
there would go the overtime.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
I mean, are both academies 17 weeks?
Yes, well, whatever the hours are, 17 weeks, they have to have. a
Well, what
minimum
I'm
of
saying is
hours.
Delta just putting in a few more hours than they have to? Because if it's 17 weeks either place, one is only 4 days a week and they only have to travel half the distance for half the overtime and only 4 days instead of 5, that's a considerable savings.
Well, it might be 17 weeks in an extra day, but you're gaining 4 extra schools possibly,
You're getting what?
Okay.
4 extra schools.
The 4
extra training.
Okay, but that doesn't.
The
take
4 extra
17 days.
But it
Well,
costs
I mean,
money.
we're talking
There was
about
only,
dollars and cents. I know, hey, I know you're gonna vote for anything he wants, okay? I got it,
That's
I
not
got it.
true.
you know,
That's not true.
but, come on.
But you got people wanting the night patrol. You got access to people.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. Training officer, you're gonna have a training officer go with another, a new officer. Okay?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And you gotta have, because you got an A and B shift, you got 2 training officers, then, I take it.
I got one that's certified training officer, one is not, but the other one will go up there and help. He's
Okay, but he'll be a senior officer going with
Exactly.
somebody.
Exactly.
So why can't we take those 2 guys right now and start a Thursday, Friday night shift?
For backup. I've said that before. Let me get, all right, let me
But
give
you
you, let me
won't
give
have
you,
that backup in.
let me give you an
January.
example. Let me give you an example here. Monday, had 4 guys on a shift. They're scheduled. One was on vacation, one left at 8 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That left 2. That left 2 people. You have to have a minimum of 2 people in case something goes bad.
Really? You have to.
Absolutely.
That's what? That's state law?
It's for their safety. Would you go into a domestic situation by
Well,
yourself?
I'm just thinking about counties
Would
that
you-
don't even have that amount of people.
well, they don't have road patrol. So you had made a statement previous, at one of the previous meetings as well, that there's an hour lapse in the state police coverage, and that is not factual. The police coverage is from their shifts are from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Right.
What is factual is that, yes, that the time period where there's the least activity is from 4 to 6. But there is no hour lapse time from the information that I received from the MSP report. I think you said between 6 and 7 or 5 and 6. They do provide 24-hour service.
There's a 6 to 6.
Correct.
We have 6 to 6, one vehicle. And then we have a 7 to 7.
Right, but when Commissioner Scott brought this up 3 months ago, maybe it was 2 months ago, a couple meetings back, he asked this very similar question, why can't you give us something Thursday, Friday, Saturday, give us even to an extended an hour or 2 beyond your 7 p.m. And you had made the statement, the MSP did not have any coverage. There was an hour lax where they didn't cover it all.
Yeah.
And that is not true. I think it was 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. and I could be wrong. I don't
6
recall exactly. Pardon me?
It was 6 a.m.
There was an hour long period, but they do provide with their shifts, which is the 12, they do the 24-hour coverage. There is no hour lapse, so the public is aware because they heard your statement. There is no hour where there is no coverage.
Our car works until 7 p.m. Their car starts at 6. The thing is that the night patrol, state police night patrol assigns one vehicle, one patrol to Ogama County, one vehicle to Iosco County.
Correct.
The problem is that if this Ogama car gets pulled to Gladwin on something very major, where's the backup for our guys that's working the 2-3 hours?
Where's the backup for MSP now? They don't have any. They're out there alone.
They got 2 people in a car. Their night shift has 2 people in a car. 2 cars with a sergeant.
But they're in 2 separate counties. That's what we were
Gladwin's
just
got a
told.
sheriff's patrol, and they got no state police backup unless it's 2 counties away.
And they probably got 2 guys in the car.
Yeah, they got 2 guys. I'm just asking for your 2 training officers driving a car. That's all I'm asking.
Something.
But it's always no.
I know in the past.
That's the plan when these guys get out of the academy, right? You're gonna put those 2 training officers with,
Yeah, but we got them available now.
Why can they be available in January, but not now?
For something,
They
something.
can be available to work night shift in January. He's already said that.
Right, when he gets these people out of the
When they
academy.
gets in the night academy, all
Right.
I'm saying is 3 nights a week. Are
So
they're
take-
available then? Why aren't they available now?
Take the day shift and make them night shift, is that what you're?
Yeah,
Okay.
one
I'm
off
just trying
each,
to-
one
I'm
off,
just, Craig, I'm just trying to figure out where you're coming. what
One
you're trying
off
to
each
say,
shift.
Okay,
one off the B and one off the A and B.
so run no day shift then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday or what?
No, just one guy off the B shift, A shift. and one
So you're gonna
off the
run
B.
one,
You're gonna take them off in
what
January.
do you say, a one-man car?
No, 2 men. 3 days a week, not 7 days a week.
So I know in the.
You got an A shift and a B shift, right? An A shift
Yeah.
runs first part of the week, the B shift's the second part of the week.
Right.
You take one guy off of each of them.
Okay, I
You
understand.
put them together
I-
only on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday
Just
night.
trying to think.
That's
I'm
all.
just trying to-
So I
I'm
guess
just trying to figure out.
we
Well,
need-
I've said it for 6 months now.
We need to also make a decision fairly quickly with this millage, this road patrol millage, as far as how much we're going to collect or not collect for this road patrol, not in,
All right, let's just get back to the thing at hand here, the academy.
well, it kind of one ties into the other.
I know.
I got a question, 2 questions. Now, I know in the past, I've seen the city actually back up the county before outside their jurisdiction. Is that not something that can happen?
It could happen, but you gotta understand. What happens if there's something going on in the city where they can't break free? So you gotta look at.
Well, that happens with the state police too.
Pardon me?
The city, I worked for the city years, what's gonna happen with the city, they back up when it's really bad emergency. But they have to back up every domestic that happens in the county. The city manager, the city council, they're gonna put an end to that real quick. They're not gonna pay taxes for them to be
They
able.
wouldn't even let them do lockouts beyond the city limits.
For taxes there.
The other thing is, you say you've been advertising with M. Coles. I don't see us on there. I see Gladwin and Roscommon and all kinds of other sheriff's departments on here. City jobs, but
It's probably way down there.
I went down the whole list.
I've looked as well and haven't seen it, but I could have missed it, so.
Should be on there. No, we've never taken it off, and we left it on there until filled.
Well,
I'm gonna opt if this is a trial that we start with just one. And again, I lean more towards the Kirtland where that will save us a tremendous amount of money. But that's my opinion, so.
This goes all the way back to December of 2020. You know when you put it on?
I put it on there in January, probably even in December.
There's no advertisement for us on there.
Well, the money's in the budget. People wanted the night patrol.
Right, they did.
The money's there. The only way that I can get it there is if I pull from the academy or pull from the corrections. That's the only way that this is gonna happen. If you give me one, you're shortchanging me. I cannot fulfill the night patrol A and B. Can't do it. Because I don't have the manpower.
Then why don't we put an end to this millage?
I don't want to. The people spoke. They want night patrol. I know what's out there, Jenny. I know what's out there after hours. And the state police right now cannot handle what's going on. They're buried with things.
So that's fair, but so for the past year, we've collected monies for services that have not been provided.
All right, let's give the people what they want. Help me out. Support me. Support me getting my correctional staff out there certified, get them on the road, and let's move forward and get our night patrol so we can help the state police and we can provide the service for our people. So if there's a need for our response, we have the responding units to do it. It could get very, very serious out there with home invasions or whatever. Okay, let me,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. What really is concerning to me is that the state police has one car in Ogama one in Iosco, something major goes on in Iosco. This Ogama car is not gonna stay here. This Ogama car is gonna go to Iosco. Leaves Ogama County wide open. If there's a home invasion, somebody needs a police officer now. They're not gonna get one. They are not gonna get one. And this stuff is for real. This is Ogama County.
This happens in Iosco all the time.
It happens in Aranac. Aranac is
Iosco has no night
bombarded.
road patrol, right?
Nice.
Pasco's got no road patrol at all.
None
at
They've
all.
got one car.
So when that car-
Secondary road, and that's it.
When that state police leaves to come to Ogama County at night, Iosco has nothing.
Nothing. They're in the same boat that we are if they get pulled over. And I'm afraid that it will happen. It's just a matter of time.
How long's it been? We haven't had road patrol for how long?
Like
I'm sorry, night patrol.
6 years,
2000.
No, it's
16 was.
Yeah,
That's
16.
4 years now.
Going on
5.
5. Going on 5.
And we are lucky as residents that car hasn't been needed
So it,
in a hot situation, but it's coming.
but I thought the
It'll
state
happen.
police have their, a lot of, and please, I could be wrong here, but a lot of state police officers also have their cars at home. Even though they're off duty. So if there is an emergency, that does occur, they are able to respond, even if they're off duty. What, am I off? Am I wrong?
You're off. You're off.
Okay,
They take their cars home, but some might live in Cadillac.
some, yes, but there are some in Ogama County. I have neighbors.
I think they have to be ordered in by their supervisors. They're not
And-
just,
and-
dispatch isn't gonna call them and say, hey, we got something going on,
No.
Skidway, can you
I
respond?
don't think anybody calls, but an emergency, yes, I agree with you. An emergency comes out, which is what we're talking about, an emergency situation.
It wouldn't be an open door, it wouldn't be a VNA, it would have to be something really serious.
And that
That's what we're talking about.
And that all depends, Jenny, is he available? He might not be available.
That's
I mean,
fair.
you throw in all the different things that could happen. This individual might be sick, he might be under the influence, who knows, and he can't respond. We have to have our car that is accessible and ready for our residents of Ogama County because that's was voted in and that's what we should provide. That's
So,
what the
since
people
it's-
spoke.
Since it's been voted in, if we put that back out to vote today for the residents of Ogama County, how do you think do you think that would still pass? That they still would want
No.
24-hour road
It's-
patrol?
Come on, Ken, we're just.
I'm asking, okay.
I'd like to know, are you willing to put a minimum requirement of time in the corrections department before you draw from?
I could do that.
You know, I think what we've heard from Lieutenant Ozier.
That's fair.
and
I can do that.
Ron that's worked there, that we, you know, if you wanna write up a plan about sending somebody off the street, I'd like to see it. But if you're gonna stick to a plan that comes out of the corrections, I think there's gotta be a minimum requirement time that they're there, so that we can study that work ethic.
That's fair.
Otherwise, you're not seeing a work ethic. If they
That's
come
fair.
in off the street for a week, there's no way Brian saw their work ethic unless it was somebody.
That's the whole point of the program is to
That
get
was
them
the
in
whole
corrections
point.
first and see what they do.
If I can, he's requested 3 to go to the academy. These are 3 people that I know, 3 people that work for me and have worked for me for a while. They have good work ethic, they're from Ogama, they got advantages, they already work here. They already have benefits, they already know the roads, they know the perks, they know the people they're gonna be going after. They have more of an advantage than anybody you bring in from anywhere else, fresh out of academy that's wet behind the ears.
That's what we want.
If you want a minimum thing, requirement, they have to be this long in corrections, let's work that in later, but that academy starts in a couple of weeks. I have a couple staff members that are military that
It's on
take.
Microsoft Word, we can change this in a minute.
I know, I have a couple military guys that take college classes that got the GI Bill that pay for their college with that they have to cancel that to go into this academy so that they aren't punished by, Mark would know more about how it works. I really don't know, but they've talked to me about it. So they can stop funding their college courses that they're taking now.
So the
And
county
get into that.
statement, though, if there were something in there that says, at least a year in corrections, that's
That'd be-
not gonna harm.
You
That's
got no
not
problem with
gonna
that,
harm
yeah.
at all. I don't have a problem with that.
That's probationary
Yeah.
period anyway.
Good.
I do not have a problem with that.
That's all I'm asking. And why, and the people he's drawn off now, I think it's a good idea because they got experience. I'm not arguing it. I'm not debating that at all.
If I,
It's just, I'd like to see a minimum because it's that's all.
So they'll do it, so let's just
Yeah.
do it.
if I could say one, Craig, if I could say one thing, this is very, very important, is that Brian hit on it. These individuals that work there know the people that comes in and out.
Right.
And they know who to look for. And not only that, they know the court system. They know how the court systems work. So you don't have to teach them that because they already know all that.
And
It's
that's
just
why I think it's a requirement. I have a minimum requirement, that's all.
Minimum requirement and guaranteed 5 years. I think that would, and we've already
I'm good
talked
with
about, we've already talked about minimum requirements already.
I'm really good with that.
So are you gonna put that on for resolution? Again, I think this should have been brought to us a little sooner. This was first brought up in December. This is only the second serious conversation we've had about this. This is a lot of money. This should have been brought to us every month from December on. So all of this could have been discussed. We could have all came to an agreement versus, hey, we got to do this right now. There's been ample time to discuss this.
And to build the policies. I'm
Correct.
glad I'm reading policies here.
And
This is what we're
as we go on, we can tweak them.
Mhm.
We can tweak.
Well,
the
we need to,
policies.
yeah, we need to, everything. I mean, we have been, since Tim has been hired, all we have been doing is adopting policies within the county system.
He's playing catch up.
Constant.
He's got a
Oh,
lot
he
of
has
work that
to,
he's been
yeah.
doing, yeah.
We're gonna go on to
because-
the 3B road patrol update. Is there anything? I think we pretty much just covered that.
I think we discovered that too.
So
Well, I had mentioned a chaplain, I'm bringing in a chaplain, volunteering. Put them in uniform, so if any of our employees or correctional staff, we have an incident where there's victims, we'll bring that chaplain in to help, smooth things over if we can, so I'm doing that. We're gonna be training our new girl who's gonna go to the school resource officer, so got some training there, and that's gonna take place. She's gonna be teaming up with the FTO Wednesday. So we're gonna try to get her through all that. And our resource officer that we had last year is gonna go with her for a couple weeks into the school, train her in there, so see how it goes. I've got some pretty good.
Is she road ready? Yeah,
She's very green, very, very green.
so. I
And
mean,
that's,
That road ready or green? What do you mean?
that's part of the reason that, and that's from pulling off the street. I mean, that's the elements that we have, and which is fine. I told her, I said, I'd much rather see you green because that way we can mold you into Ogama County.
Don't have any bad habits to break.
Yeah.
It's fine, but
So,
I think, just have her at the school is only, 3/4 of the year. What is she gonna do after that?
we're gonna put her into our FTO program again for the road. I mean, she's gonna get a couple weeks, 3 weeks of FTO now, but no, when she comes out of the school, she's gonna be tagged up with an FTO officer and do the remaining courses that we have to do. But we're not gonna set her out there green because we don't want nobody hurt. Oh, yeah, that's where we're gonna go with that.
So,
Right after Christmas break, be sure to tell us in your report that week off of school, we had her in the FTO
Yeah.
program.
Absolutely.
So that.
What happens if
first meeting
something happens in
January,
school?
Tell me that.
I mean, is she gonna be fully trained enough to respond to an incident at the school or near the school if something happens?
Yeah, we're gonna train her. We're not gonna just leave her out there to the wolves. We're not, we're gonna watch over her. I plan on being there weekly, to monitor what's going on. Just to make sure that everything's okay, because we don't want to get her hurt, we want to treat her right.
it makes me very uneasy if I want anybody. Hopefully nothing ever does happen at the schools, but if it does, my kids are there, our kids are there. I want them safe. And I mean, they pay quite a bit of money. We get that money from the school, correct? There's a contract there. And if I remember, it was like $53,000 or $58,000.
Six, I think it was last year.
So you're gonna pay a brand new officer that's green, that's not road ready, $56,000 to be in the school that requires
Well,
backup?
we have somebody in there that's gonna be trained and somebody in there that can take action and run in when everybody's running out. You have to have a police authority with the uniform on. It deters crime. That car sitting up there at that parking lot at the school deters probably anything that may happen,
Good.
just by having that car there.
Yes.
Anything else, guys? On the road patrol update, is there any, so this millage, when is the deadline on that?
You'll have that as part of your budget process, so you don't, your deadline technically is in November, but you will have it addressed long before November.
So when would you guys like to discuss as far as,
Let's get into the budget.
You're gonna start that, you know, next committee of the whole, you're gonna start deep into budget.
So in 2
This will
weeks?
be- Yeah, this will be obviously part of the conversation.
because that, we do have the ability to eliminate, cut that.
You do.
Okay,
Have the responsibility.
so anything else, guys? For a POLY, huh?
Recess,
Recess, yeah,
please.
Oh,
please.
Let's hurry.
a quick 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes isn't good.
We'll actually be able to whip through the remainder.
That's 2 hours.
Fast are we talking?
I could do it in 5 minutes. It might take 7 because there might be a question.
Awesome. We're both almost late.
Madam Chair,
Yeah,
if it's okay, I'll get back over to business.
absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
I'm gonna hang out for a little bit.
I did see on that, it said Iasco County.
It did.
Did you see
Because
that?
that was the boilerplate. So, yeah.
I did want to,
That's
for
right.
the
The
tow
tow
policy, the
policy.
first sentence was Iasco County.
Yeah. Yeah, good old cut and paste.
I seen that, and I had some questions on that. I don't know if I'm able to
Yeah, for a little bit. I'm gonna ask
ask, not ask.
what I can relay on to the staff. My staff. Because you got a couple of guys like that, I got the GI Bill stuff, so I got no other to.
You want me to stay?
No, I can do it.
Got an email. Did you get that from Mr. Griffin on the
Okay, yep, we'll do.
nature park?
Yeah.
Your
I
facility?
do, and I've got a couple of follow-ups here, and I told Scott Bell this morning that will be my first priority when this meeting is over, to get to the bottom of whatever's going on there.
So did
It
somebody
sounds like
forward you
it's,
this email?
yeah.
Okay,
It sounds like it's just catching up on the paperwork, and nobody really knowing who's responsible for what. So
Yeah.
we'll set all that up and get it cleared up. It's not hard. Sit down and do it.
It's just nonstop. Is that on the deer park? Is that on the deer?
Yeah.
park?
I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about 3 or 4 other things that are happening, and I go,
Yeah, I know.
many things at once.
It's me, I don't know how you do it.
Usually it's through Parks and Rec. Again,
Since they're in budget.
but
yes, because I might have to skip
Scott
out.
takes care of the deer park and myself.
Sorry,
Rich,
I forgot about you.
take care of the camp.
So that's great for oversight, but when it comes to something like this paperwork, we should be able to handle administratively, get it processed and get it out of here
Done.
because it's routine.
Yeah.
It's a certification we have to do, so. Gee, everybody else is going.
Go to.
Might as well all leave. We might as well all leave. Yeah, I gotta kind of get an idea on what to tell my guys, whether they're gonna go or not go, so they can take care of their GI stuff. Cause they'll lose their GI bill for their college if they don't cancel the classes they're in and go to the academy. And if they do cancel them, then don't go to the academy, then they're in a bind too.
Yeah, my granddaughter, she just come back to Michigan right now. She's gonna go to Michigan State and use the GI Bill through Jason. And it's so weird because she got some scholarships, but because she's coming back And using the GI Bill, they canceled all our scholarships.
Give it to somebody else.
Yeah. The rest are,
Wow.
I mean, I just,
Surprised I had.
and it's,
When the meeting's done, I'm going to full pump.
and Jason was really upset because she got a letter not too long.
Well, you had to go
ago.
too?
No, I was with Denise,
And
gonna sign something.
gotta come up with
But don't forget Denise.
$2,500 this semester because they cut her out of a $5 scholarship or
Yeah.
$5,000.
yeah,
So he wasn't very happy with her.
I know.
I would have took another coffee. No, I'm just,
You would?
I was kidding. That was wrong. I shouldn't have said, I'll go get it myself.
You can pay for it.
That was hurtful.
You deserve,
To be hurt?
you deserve a coffee, another coffee.
I don't think there's enough coffee for today. My day's-
I don't think there is either. I really don't. I sent you an email.
Did you?
Mhm.
All right. All right. Have to find it, 400 other ones I get every day. I actually went through them this morning early. I actually still
Okay.
got in there at 20 to 6. Yeah, it didn't take me long to change that tire. But I did not being dark.
Oh, you're gonna get run over doing it.
Man, them people do not get over and it don't matter. It's like, geez,
No, they don't.
they don't get over for nothing. So I have one eye on that lane and it did me good. Where am I gonna go?
Ready? Red.
In a hurry.
Yeah. I'm glad that beer trial over though.
Yeah, do you know that we have next week trials canceled? That's probate. Potentially 19th. The next Friday is a civil bench trial. The next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is a civil jury trial.
In circuit? Next week.
Okay, ready?
For the month, well,
Hey,
that's
I'll give
one
you-
each month, one each week.
While we were talking about all this county stuff, I text my son who got a master's degree while he worked for Sandvik. They paid the biggest portion of it. He had to be 3 years with them. And then he had to take PTO time to go to school. And I was at state and he would go like 7 days straight each month or something like that. And he said that most of the students had to take PTO from the class. Their companies were strict about it.
So they use it.
Companies were not paying wages.
They didn't pay mine
That's
yet.
companies. That's private sector. I'm just telling you that's what happened.
Okay, let's
But
go
if
to,
it's
nope,
PTO, it's paid time off.
Paid time off.
They're getting paid still,
using your
They're
vacation
getting paid.
in
time.
their vacation
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they'll have to use that up.
Can we go ahead, Tim, with 4A, Hollis,
Okay,
POC?
like I said, I can rattle right through these without a lot of hesitation here. The POLC voluntary recognition, this is a request from the labor union that's been requested to represent our deputies and our command officers. Going through the process with the Michigan Employment Relation Commission, there typically would have to be a vote to accept either the POLC or the Teamsters in this case, who currently represent these employees. The Teamsters have agreed to voluntarily withdraw, which eliminates the need for the physical vote. If they get the voluntary recognition from the county, they believe that will just reinforce their case to eliminate that 30-day period or so for the vote itself. So the PLC is asking that the board pass a resolution to voluntarily recognize them. We've already had conference calls with Merck, with myself and the sheriff. We have both said we have no objection. And that's absolute. We have no role in this whatsoever. The employees are choosing their union. And so we don't really have concern as to who we're negotiating with. We just need to know who it is so that we can begin to go through bargaining. So that's the rough background. And I think it's, a good thing if you were to consider that.
When would this be effective?
I hope really soon because we are running out of time. These contracts expire on September 30th and we really need to get rolling. So I hope it expedites everything so we can get some dates and get to the table.
This conclude the corrections or not?
No, corrections will remain with Teamsters. So we're going to end up with one more bargaining unit out of this. It's all said and done.
So this is gonna look overall. This will be, that's what I'm looking for here. I don't want to say better, but even more appealing to officers, correct?
Well, they've initiated the request, so I'm going to guess that it is. And what's really happening is with the unit that has the deputies in it right now, the 312 eligible group is breaking away so that the non-312 are no longer part of their group. If they need to go to binding arbitration, they don't have to worry about what happens with the non-312 group because that does in fact complicate it. From a management perspective, I like the division because for me, it's just absolute. They're a 312 group or they're not. It makes it very simple.
All right, I'd say go ahead and make a resolution or in support of that.
Definitely.
We're ready to move on. The toll policy. I've met with the sheriff and the dispatch director. The gist of it is this, Greg Meehan had provided us with a couple of different boilerplates. We went with the IOSCO boilerplate and bottom line is
It's
this.
pretty obvious because if you look at line 2, it's still
Yes.
Pasco County. Gee, let me guess where this one came from.
Yeah. So here's the gist of it. The way this would end up working is that the toll policy would actually reside at dispatch. Or the county's role in this, a deputy that needs a tow would simply get on the radio and tell dispatch, we need a tow. That's it. The deputy is not choosing who, has no role in this whatsoever. Central dispatch would maintain the rotation and through their software system, they're able to literally type in who's getting the call, when the call came and so on. And this will automatically then roll over to the next one when it's necessary. So it's just automatic for everybody. If this one's not available, you go to the next one in line. It's all right there. It's documented, makes it very easy. Now, talking to Jessie just briefly yesterday, she does have some tweaks that she wants to do to the policy after consultation with IOSCO. They've had some experience with it. They know areas that maybe need to be improved in the policy itself. So she and I will talk again next week about it. But I do want the board to know this is happening. It's not languishing. It's going to take place.
So does it affect if, say, I ask for a certain tow?
No.
No, it's in there.
You
The wording's in
always
there.
have the first choice. So this is primarily the person. who's not-
It's not committed.
The only thing that confused me on it was the dispatcher as far as the geographical area. I didn't care for that.
Well, we have some tow companies that only service a part of the county.
Okay, so it
So
was,
they will maintain a rotation so that if something happens in that part of the county, they're part of that rotation. If it's in a different part of the county, they're not considered, nobody's losing a place, in the rotation. They just aren't eligible for over here.
so the towing company makes a decision of,
They will-
okay, that's what I didn't read.
Right.
Are
They-
they still required to be within Oklahoma County?
Not necessarily. You could still be, in the rotation, if you're just over the line and you're available, yeah, but I'll leave that final determination to dispatch, let them.
Brad, and I'll throw out an example for you back in my day. Let's say something happens up by Sage Lake. You had either R&R Tire out of Rose City. They weren't available. Then we had Shorts out of Hale come over. I mean, they were close enough. Because if R&R wasn't available, the next thing was West Branch. And you're sitting out there waiting for, so you gotta look at,
I'm fine with
ones that are close that are out of county and are willing to come into Ogama. You know.
They have to agree to the terms of this.
Sure, they have to take them, yeah, they gotta meet the MPSC insurance requirements and everything else, no matter where they are physically located. They have to agree to
And where are they?
do a certain geographic area of Ogama County if they're willing to do that, you know?
Right, but I understand his perspective as far as we always want to try to keep things local and support those in our own county, but I understand what you're saying.
But you're limited by certain tow company. I mean, if, again, and I use that as the example, if, you know, R&R wasn't available.
Right, you can't wait for West Branch to go to South Branch.
You can't wait for, yeah, if you're in South Branch, geez, you know, what's your closest next one? It's one locally here in West Branch. When you're on an accident, you know, I mean,
More to come on that?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's just a report.
that's what I'm asking.
Okay, and the MERS conference, I'll like to bring a resolution to you next week that would once again appoint myself as the management representative, management delegate to MERS. We did put out a call for employee volunteers to assume that employee section and got no volunteers. Now, this isn't the most exciting stuff, I get it, but you know, really the conference is better than what you might think in terms of what people learn.
I was an employee delegate for probably 6-8 years in a row. I loved it. Maggie Robinson, the treasurer, she was always once you get into a couple of years under your belt, I think I found it very informative. But you know, yeah, if you're just a one-time hit and miss kind of thing, yeah, it's like, but once you understand the dynamics and what's going on and who the players are, I think it's a great conference. I really do.
You're attending?
I will, if you
Okay.
approve the resolution
Yes,
next
we'll
week.
put that on there.
The conference is in Grand Rapids. They're still going back and forth whether they're going to have a virtual option. I would say probably they are, just given the direction things are going. If they don't, it'll just be a day trip for me. It won't be any overnight.
Amway Grand, woo-hoo.
Yeah. Been there enough. Item D, the 211 Northeast Michigan Board. I hope you had a chance to read the email that came from Paul. He's been approached to be on the board, and I mentioned the board was actually going to seek a member of the County Board of Commissioners to sit on it as well. I've not been able to make contact with them yet, but at a minimum, I would suggest bringing a resolution Thursday that would say yes to having Paul represent the law enforcement component, which, you know, I think that's a good choice.
I agree.
So you're gonna find out if they also want a commissioner on that board as well,
I
because
will.
in his email, there was supposed to be something attached to it and there was nothing attached.
Oh.
I seen the
Okay.
email between the two of you, but Paul said in his email that he was also gonna attach the email that came from the
There was
211.
bylaws
Yeah, the bylaws.
were on there.
That's what came
Okay.
with that, so.
And then they did a revised. Yeah,
You'll let us know?
Well, let you
Okay.
know. Item E, the High Banks property, you might recall from one of the last meetings, the supervisor of Mills Township was asking about stain and brushes. We got that taken care of. And hopefully things have been stained. I don't know what progress they made with their volunteers. With the abandoned properties in Mills Township, I don't remember when the land bank was going to meet, but that was the next.
August,
step.
it's coming up on,
The 14th.
Denise is there.
I wrote it down, because I was gonna try and attend, because I'm curious.
So next on the ARPA update, at the next committee of the whole, you're going to have your internal controls audit report. Maynard Casterson will be here. But I've also asked them to take a look at the calculation for lost revenue for the county, which they did. I would place this in the category of too good to be true. So I need to meet with them to really get to the bottom of their calculation before I tell you what that's going to be and what the lost revenue is. And this is the ability to just take a portion of the ARPA funds and put it into the general fund as representing revenue that was lost to the county as a result of COVID. The ARPA language actually had a calculation in there on how to do it. And I would just liken it to doing or taking the standard deduction on your taxes versus itemizing. So they did the standard deduction calculation and provided some numbers. again, I want to absolutely confirm this with him in conversation because this does impact what we do with our budget, both for this year and for the succeeding 3 years. And it's a pretty large number. So again, I just want to make sure that it's right before we make the commitment. And then lastly, on the financial depository policy, this is the first item coming out of that internal controls audit that you're seeing for policy. There are about 5 or 6 more waiting in the wings. But this one had a bit more urgency to it. As you'll see right at the very top of the document, it's quoting from the General Property Tax Act and the Public Funds Act. Sections of those statutes that say we must have a financial depository policy. And we had something that was hand scratched in a drawer in the treasurer's office. And I think Karen has made the right choice of saying we need to formalize the policy. So that's what you're seeing there. We only have 2 choices for depositories. So you see those listed in there. But if there were others that were to come in, and who knows, it's only 2 because there's been so many mergers here in the last couple of years. If others materialize, then this policy will be revised, or at least a request to revise will be brought to you and you can discuss it. But we have to have something like this on the books. If we ever want to bond anything, if we don't have this, this is something that could cause our bond rating to be impacted, and then we end up paying more in interest and so on. It's important to have it, but it's just good practice anyway. So that's what that's all about.
Item 5, is any questions on any of that? He went through that pretty quickly.
What about the abandoned?
Waiting on the
Land bank.
land bank.
The land bank, that was all in with, I think. Okay.
Okay. Item 5, public comment. This is the second and the last public comment. On December 10, 2020, the Board of Commissioners approved Resolution 2077 to adopt rules of procedure that include a structure for public comment. Each meeting agenda includes 2 opportunities for public comment. The first public comment period is limited to topics that appear in the meeting agenda. A second public comment is reserved for public statements on any matter or issues that is relevant or germane to county government. Persons who wish to address the board are required to comply with the following: 1, state your name for the record; 2, speak only to the chairperson; 3, stand behind the podium when speaking; 4, limit comments to 3 minutes or fewer; and 5, follow the direction of the chairperson when speaking. Board rules do not impose restrictions on subject matters. However, failure to follow the direction of the chairperson will result in not being able to talk or being removed from the meeting. The board chairperson reserves the right to sound the gavel when the audience applauds or derides a speaker. The board thanks you in advance for your compliance with these rules. Public comment. Is there any public comment in the room? Pam, you gotta stand up, speak your name.
Hi, my name's Gail Hall, and I ended up being here, but your door was open. And I did, after last night's meeting, the sheriff was gonna be here, but didn't make it in time. And just want you to be aware of how this is affecting people. I have property on Village Resort. I've been coming up since the mid-80s, property owners since the 90s. I'm not a resident. I'm one of those that own property here, pay taxes, but not full time. Last year in May, we had a shooting up there, and nobody was killed, but came close to being hurt, and the sheriff's department did investigate. And from what I followed, they tried really hard to make the case, but were unable to, because the evidence just wasn't there. July 17th, there was a 50th wedding anniversary party up at the lake and some other things going on. And the same people who did the shooting had some guests there, and a car came out and almost ran over a little girl, almost rolled their car, came back, threatened some residents, took off. There were 4 911 calls made and 1 email to 911, and nobody came. Nobody came. You know, and it was the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. It wasn't after 6 o'clock, because a lot of times the problems happen up there because people up here know after 6 o'clock, unless it's really life threatening, you can do what you want. And I have been spending a little bit more time up there, and when somebody comes through at 2 o'clock in the morning, between 2 and 4, and stop at property, they're there less than 3 minutes, they're not asking. You know, and there's nowhere to go with it. So what you can do about it, and more officers, it's a statewide, it's not a statewide problem, it's a national problem. But I just wanted you to be aware that somebody else, that little girl almost died on something. We couldn't get anybody to come up. And one of the residents has pictures of the incident, had pictures of the man's face. I mean, just as easy as I can see into your faces, this guy is so identifiable. And they have the information now, but we haven't heard anything back. I just want you to be aware of that, how it's affecting everyday people and the residents that do live here.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Any public comment on the phone? Any public comment on the phone? Can we make a motion to adjourn at 11:21?
Support?
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion adjourned. Thank you.
Support that.
I did. Brad.